Hello, this is Scott Baceno from telecoms.com. I'm here at the Ovum Digital Futures 2018 event, and I'm talking to Kevin from, I'm looking at there because that's where your sign is, OneTrust. Hi, Kevin.
That's right. Hello.
So Kevin, I've got to admit, I wasn't familiar with OneTrust prior to us being introduced, so why don't you start by telling us what your company does?
Sure. Well, we are a young company, so it's to be forgiven.
Enough.
Yeah. Just about 3 years in business now. OneTrust is a leading privacy management solution for enterprises that are looking to comply with global privacy regulations like the GDPR, but also because they see a need to handle privacy and personal data in a new way, that it's become a core part of the brand's trust and reputation that they're good stewards of that information. So we offer a suite of tools that will help them not only organize their privacy management campaign, but also stay compliant with reporting needs and also other obligations under the laws.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
Certainly,
yeah.
GDPR has been a massive thing. I know even within any large company, including my own, there have been lots of people rushing around worrying about compliance, as you put it. How's that gone? Presumably it's been good for you business-wise, but how's the whole process gone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a frenetic year for us and serving our clients. We've gone from this time last year being just over 100 people to 500 today, and no signs of slowing down. The growth has been fast and furious. So,
do you need any journalists to join?
Hit the website and apply. Yeah. No, it's been tremendous and very exciting to be part of a market that is exploding so quickly. We really feel like we're addressing an important need for our clients and the partnerships that we've built with them and how our products are being rolled out today. So
how's everyone doing? Is everyone compliant now?
No. Unfortunately, that's a far no.
Right.
Right now, we see a lot of organizations that are trying to get the fundamentals in place, and some are certainly doing a great job of getting a good program out there. Many organizations, though, still in the early days of this.
Yeah.
And beyond that, the law itself is evolving, and we're going to continue to see how these enforcement actions go and what comes next. And that's just here in Europe.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, apart from obviously working with you guys, why? It's not like companies haven't had plenty of advance warning. Why haven't they done more? Has it been too difficult? Have they been? Obviously there's a massive generalization. Have they been disorganized? Have they just been kicking the can down the road? Why do you think everyone's not just completely compliant?
I think there was, in the early days, some belief that we could sort of deflect or this doesn't apply to us and different efforts to dismiss it as not being relevant maybe for some organizations. And I don't want to paint with too broad of a brush here because there were a lot of organizations that did a great job in really recognizing what this was going to require of them. But I think for the most part, many miscalculated just how much was going to be involved in this and how far-reaching the law is and what it means for them. And again, as I say, some of this continues to evolve, and so the scope continues to broaden. But we see today that a lot of them are now putting good programs in place and really trying to protect that information and make sure that they are compliant with the law.
Yeah, it's obviously a big deal. Very much from a consumer point of view, it's in the press quite a lot what big internet companies do with our data that we give them so willingly.
Sure.
And I'm curious. So I detect, I think, an American accent from you.
That's right.
GDPR is obviously a European thing, and we're basically saying to the rest of the world, if you want to interact with European consumers, you have to do it by our rules. Are there any equivalent sets of sort of standards or guidelines in the US, in the Americas, other parts of the world that we should be aware of?
There are. So first off, you've correctly noted, the GDPR is written in a way that's got an extraterritorial scope. It applies to companies all over the world, depending on how they're working with EU citizens and the data that they're processing. Most will find that they have exposure to the law and they have to do something just around the GDPR. But beyond that, you do see a groundswell of different regulation and efforts being made around the world to address privacy. As technology becomes more capable of collecting information on the individual and more invasive in that sense, or at least the capacity to be, a lot of countries are recognizing there's a real need to establish some basic standards of good hygiene and protection around what data you're collecting. So most recently, the state of California passed a pretty sweeping law, the CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act, that calls for many of the same protections and rights of the individual that you would have under the GDPR.
Okay.
Doesn't go quite as far in some areas, and it actually goes probably further in some. But look, California is the 6th largest economy in the world.
Yes.
This is a massive, massive market for most companies. Even if they felt like maybe they could try to get out of having exposure to GDPR, now they see that they can't. And this is just one of the latest examples. You see in Australia, Brazil, other countries all over the world that are all taking steps along the same path to protecting individual information.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Cheers.